Want to hear something crazy? We've been taught to work out wrong for literally decades, but if you watch the video to the end, you'll gain a blueprint for how to train right and gain superhuman strength, skill, and sustainability, or at the very least, break out of your matrix and get to above average, okay? Like handstands, human flags, flares, flips. In other words, the blue pill. Are you ready? If you can't spare 5 minutes to focus on the 5 levels I'm gonna show you today, man, I really don't know what to tell you. This first level is critical, and escaping the matrix of stiff inflexibility unlocks strength that you never thought possible. We're here in France on an immersive experience with our ninja level students, and a few people arrived early and we were talking about supplements, lifestyle, and then the best methods for training. And one of our students, Justin, was discussing the fact that one of the best things he's found to work on first and foremost is opening up flexibility, but then layering strength on top. And he's exactly right. But it got me to thinking about the phases of training that I want to share with you today. Yes, flexibility is one of the key aspects of what I call body mastery, and it's one of the highest priority pillars of training. And if you master flexibility, it'll unlock greater strength and movement than you ever realized was possible for you. And there's a variety of flexibility, like static passive, allowing the force to pull you into a deeper relaxed stretch, or static active, where you resist the stretch in a deep range of motion, like a bridge or a leg iron cross. Then there's dynamic stretching, which are kicks, whips, and momentum. And then there's ballistic, which is bouncing and changing directions. Now, most people have done decades of weightlifting and other mainstream methods, and droves of people are now coming out of the woodwork to fix all of these issues. This is in large part due to heavy marketing since the 1960s and a $15 billion industry of bodybuilding and supplements, leading to many of you being very tight and chronic and even catastrophic injuries and that feeling of age. And now the new trend is mobility and a vast assortment of cheap courses. Now, whether or not the trends of weightlifting or mainstream methods or mobility courses are good or bad is not the question for today. It's merely to point out the groupthink that generates widespread chronic problems in billions of human bodies that really don't even work anymore. So we start with flexibility and begin rebuilding from there. But excess flexibility leads to problems of its own, which is why strength is the next most important phase. You see, if you're really muscular or strong in small ranges, you might look the part, but you probably don't feel the part with rotator cuff, hip, and hamstring issues. But on the same note, if you're really flexible but lack strength, you're still gonna end up with rotator cuff, hip, and hamstring issues as well. So we layer strength on top of the flexibility. This begins creating sustainability long-term and advanced athletic longevity. But it requires another pillar of body mastery, and this is mobility. Now, don't make the mistake of thinking mobility is flexibility. Mobility is the strength added to the flexible ranges of motion. So this is where movement starts to look weird. But in reality, what's weird is the vast majority of the human population not being able to move this way. They move like zombies. And though some may be muscular, it's only vanity. At the same time, you may see highly, even hypermobile individuals or influencers, but don't be fooled. It's only a small piece of the puzzle. In fact, flexibility, strength, and mobility are literally just A, B, and C. And please, don't let all of this overwhelm you. The issue is that humans are born with the natural development of flexibility, strength, and mobility, but it's squandered through the decades and then must be rebuilt, which in some cases can be difficult. But if you do it right, it can be straightforward and simple. So I really hope we can move past the ABCs together. So it really doesn't matter how much flexibility, strength, and mobility one has if they are not training with speed. Speed is almost frowned upon though. Do your slow reps and sets, take your rests, but then you go out and get hurt doing simple activities on the weekend or basic things in life because of unpredictable speed, or you're not getting to the matrix level that you know you're able to do. Likewise, speed is where your development of athletic longevity comes into play, like adding motion to strength moves, sprints, vaults, acceleration. And then this leads to another pillar of body mastery, which is power. You see, your body should be able to handle generating power and dealing with force, even impacts. But people train so slow according to strict sets and reps like they're in an office. But we should be embedding power to our training. Swings, jumps, strikes, and impacts. This is the theory behind the katas we implement in Powerbatics. They involve the flexibility, strength, mobility, speed, and power, and progress level by level to the most advanced strength and skill you'll see. Plus something very critical, the variability of movement. Not doing the same thing over and over again in the set, but doing varied movement. Again, not sets and reps, but rather no move is repeated in a kata, which is the secret sauce, variability of movement. And if you've been working out for months, years, or even decades, and you're not implementing these principles, it's time for change, and now wouldn't be too soon. Now, when you train these, it's important to do it simultaneously, which again is the reason behind these simple routines called katas. And this all leads towards even more fantastic transformation in your body and mind, like the rewiring of your nervous system and development of coordination. And all of this prepares you for a life of athletic longevity and body mastery, which is pretty fun.